Good morning, Dustin. How are you doing, man?
Good. Got my coffee as ordered.
As ordered, what do you got? Oh, I like it. The Cyber Drain
The
mug.
Cyber Drain special edition.
I have this is a special mug to me. This is like Sunapee mug. We got our little
Oh,
moose here. But it was funny. I was picking this one out of the cupboard today. I don't know why I felt inspired to grab it. This is also the one that we signed the paperwork with on Sasleo. So it's a very
yeah.
fun mug. It's got a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of fun memories built into it.
That's a good one.
So I'm excited to get you here today, man. This is going to be a fun topic. Obviously, we're on Coffee Chat, so we're going to be talking about AI, but I want to get into the operations of it today. Like a little bit of what does it look like to process size around AI? What does it look like to build a consulting business around AI? Like not just the hypotheticals, but into the operational, into the execution. And so this is going to be a super fun one for me. Dustin, are you going to be at a GeekCon this year?
I am.
Yes, awesome.
Yeah.
Not only will we be doing live coffee chats there, that's a lot of what the talk about is operationalizing AI. And so this is going to be a fun topic that inspires a little bit of that. But enough about me. I'm just the host. I'm excited to have Dustin here. Dustin Bolander, an amazing human being. If you've never met him, if you're on the stream or reading the newsletter, reach out to him. He's got a lot of really good insights. He knows the space inside and out. If you're in here, jump in, say hi, tell us what you're drinking, tell us where you're drinking it from, ask some questions. It makes it a heck of a lot more fun when people jump in and ask them.
I hope this will be a good one for questions.
This should be a good one. Like, ask anything. I will say, well, let me reframe it. One time I got
within reason.
Yeah. One time I got a question and I didn't really filter it before I asked it. I realized it was kind of out of bounds. So only one time in 54 episodes have I made this comfortable. Significantly uncomfortable. I'm sure I've made my guest uncomfortable before. But people might know me on the show, but they may not know you, Dustin. So do me a favor, give me your introduction. And I don't not like the 30-second elevator story. Like, who is Dustin? Why are you doing what you're doing? What keeps you energized? Like the real Dustin story.
Dig into my deep past traumas and all that.
Yeah, well, trauma's the second half of the show. So if you can keep that for later, we'll get into trauma here in a little bit.
Okay, so I guess important stuff was I grew up a small family business doing dog training and boarding. So that was kind of the you and I know we're, I'm going to say, probably the two most psycho entrepreneurs in the MSP channel. I'm just like, I got to start something. So that was where that came from. I started working basically every weekend whenever I was 12. Family business, and it wasn't a small family business. It actually got pretty good. We had about 300 employees at the peak. So pretty good size. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot of dogs, man.
There's a lot of dogs. And wait,
right?
We'll come back to this later. Sorry, go ahead. Keep telling the story. I'm just shocked.
Yeah. So I ended up going to school actually for electrical engineering, computer science, but I was working night shift to pay for school. So I got a job, help desk job at a hospital, and then ended up in a couple years I was running the night shift IT department. Moved down to Austin to chase my girlfriend, now wife, and kind of I kept saying I'm not going to be an IT guy. I'm not going to be an IT guy. And then finally, about my 30th birthday, I woke up one day and was like, oh shit, okay, I'm an IT guy.
Yeah.
So heavy Exchange, Active Directory background originally. And then whenever I moved to Austin, bounced around at a couple places, worked at Dell. Everybody that goes to Austin in tech, you got to work at Dell at one point. And then I also got the classic Dell experience at that time and got laid off after 9 months. They shut down the department. It's a revolving. It used to be. They're a lot better now, but the 2000s, 2010s, Dell was like every 18 months layoffs.
Yeah.
But ended up at a really small MSP, and the founder decided to retire. So it was like, all right, well, what do? You buy him out. So me and two of the other guys bought him out. So ended up owning my first MSP starting in 2011. Long other story there, but we were basically generalists. We had the biggest chicken wing chain in Texas as a client. We had a bunch of vets.
That's exciting. That's very apropos.
Yeah, construction companies, that kind of stuff. And it was one of those of like, all right, John, what do you want? Like, you want MFA? Cool, that'll be $3. Oh, you want a firewall? It'll be that. Just very a la carte. Ended up selling that 2018. And part of what I was able to get a carve out on was working with law firms, because nobody wants to work with lawyers. So originally, that was how Clear Guidance Partners got started. And the original plan was me and the guy, Anthony, who's our CISO now, we were just like, we're going to do virtual CIO, we're going to do virtual CISO, we're going to charge $350 an hour, and we're going to work 30 hours a week. This is going to be like, we're going to print money and barely work. It's going to be great.
Easiest thing ever.
Literally the first 30 days, we had a local CPA that I knew called me, and they're like, hey, you're not calling back so-and-so. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they gave him my number at my old MSP. Old MSP didn't want to work with the guy because I guess it was like a referral. There's something weird there.
Yeah.
So it's like I could work with them. So I called the guy back, and it was a construction company, $20,000 MRR. So literally the first, like, we were putting desks together we subleased a office in a factory. Smelled like garbage every day. But we were literally like sitting there screwing desks together. We kind of looked at it and was like, oh shit, I guess we started at an MSP.
Yeah, started at MSP.
Yeah.
Follow the money. It's a heck of a lot better than following the idea.
That's Clear Guidance Partners. We are 90% law firms at this point. We still have the construction company. We got a couple other. We actually, I'm not going to go into it beyond just saying we acquired another MSP recently that we're going to also have another brand focused on the finance vertical. Because we already had a handful of private equity clients. That's kind of that little bit that's outside of law. But yeah, just heavy vertical focus. I did the generalist thing for years, and in a lot of ways, it also depends on picking your industry, but legal is, what I tell people is they pay well, they pay on time for the most part, and the M&A piece, hot take, I don't think we're going to go into it today, but I don't think M&A is going to hit the industry particularly hard. Private equity is coming for legal, but there's bills that are drafted right now. It's like California and 3 other states that are going to block private equity on the state level from owning law firms. And it's already kind of hard to do it. Arizona is the only state where there's really a clear documented legal path. So that's where I like the law space. And then we started that 2019, did $1 million in revenue our first year. And then 2021, we acquired a company. So we have a group now that does back office for law firms also. Okay. So, hey, John, not only can we do your cybersecurity and IT, but we can also do your billing, your accounting, your HR, all that fun stuff. So
I love it. Man,
yeah.
What a story. I knew nothing about the vet background, or the dog background, not vet background, but the dog. Yeah. I'm still like taking it back. By the way, you've talked about like landing 20K clients, doing give and I'm still laser.
Oh, we can talk dogs all day, man.
I mean,
yeah. I got to eventually I was doing the attack training, so I was the guy that had the sleeve where you got the dogs coming at you and you're just like, oh shoot, I got to catch him. Like, is he going high or low?
This is a GeekCon combo. That is 100% what this is going to be, as a GeekCon combo. No questions asked.
Yeah.
We see a few people piloted. Just ask some questions along the way. Maybe not about dogs, because I want to dig into this.
Or ask about dogs. That's cool.
Ask about dogs. Sure. Actually, you're right. Nothing's off limit. Well, back to the thing. There is some things off limits. But what I really want to dig in today is what you just talked about. You're vertical focused. You've got the law vertical. You got the finance vertical. I don't want to go deep into them. Anecdotally, we'll talk about them as a result of the conversation track. But we've been talking in the industry for, I've been hearing it at least for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, like verticalization.
Yeah.
That's how you drive real profitability out of an MSP versus being that generalist where you came from. But I want to take that topic just one step deeper around the AI. And so I just want to kind of start off with like this question around your thoughts on AI delivery downstream. Let's maybe just start there. Like, and then I want to kind of compare it against where you think that the pros and the cons are against like a horizontal strategy. But how are you looking at AI with a vertically focused MSP? Like, what are the things that are inbounds, out of bounds? Like, what are the things they want you to help with and you can or can't help with? Like, how are you thinking about this big enigma of money to be made with AI right now?
Yeah. So I'll actually start off. I have no shame, so I'm comfortable admitting this publicly on webinar. I was pretty much rolling my eyes at AI day to day about a year ago. It's like the opportunity is still there. I had a paid ChatGPT so I could create memes and stuff like that. But on a lot of stuff on business, it was like, this is overblown, this, that, and the other. Because what I'm seeing a lot where I think consultants, companies, law firms are failing is, keep in mind that we are extremely SMB focused, right? Our biggest client is about 200. Our average is 45 or so
Yeah.
employees. So very firmly in the SMB territory, on emphasis on the small part, right?
Yep.
So I think for whenever I'm talking, it's usually in that context. But a lot of these guys are like, "Oh, John, we're going to come in like, we're 20 attorneys. We're going to deploy OpenClaw, this, that, and the other." We just had one come in the other day that we're talking to, and it was back in October, and it's like a 25-person firm. They spent $100,000 deploying this awesome AI thing. It connects to this, that, and the other, does this, and the call was, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, I know. I knew that was going to be the call. Dang it.
Yeah.
I've seen this movie before.
Yeah, so that was kind of my original thing, was all these people are like, oh yeah, we're going to immediately replace all of our associates with AI, this, that, and the other. And so that was, I really dug my heels in. And then it became one of those things of, last summer I would have called it, for clear guidance, of kind of a necessary evil. It's like, all right, this is dumb, but the attorneys, they want to use, and honestly, we're just doing a lot of ChatGPT and Claude, which we'll dig into. But it was like, they want help. Okay, we got to have somebody. So we hired this guy. I always say, it's like he was good for 30 minutes, just highly intelligent, but no depth on anything. So it was like great for that. If, hey, John, let me give you a 30-minute ChatGPT training, and like, you're good to go. But then as we started to realize was, like, I had a client the other day that I went to their office, and the firm admin, the COO, was, hey, we deployed ChatGPT. They never did any formal training or planning. And she's like, I use it maybe 30 minutes a day. I was like, all right, you're just using it because people told you to use AI, right?
Yeah.
So we started digging in a lot more on I always call it like point solutions, right? What's this very specific thing? And not just like you and I have talked about, missed call notification, route it to so-and-so.
Yeah.
On the legal side, though, we're getting a lot more in the weeds on the business industry specific.
Yeah.
So best example is, I'm not going to go full, law firm geek on you, but whenever you're doing billing, as a law firm for your clients, is you have sometimes what's called outside counsel guidelines, where I have one right now that I'm working on a project for. It is, you can't bill more than 8 hours a day without written approval on a per day or per matter basis. You cannot put certain things into a single time entry. So it's like little rules, right? And here's the 20 tags we need you to have before you submit it to our electronic billing portal. It has to be in this format, blah, 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 blah. So it's very structured, which is a great use for AI.
Yes, unstructured to structured data is like the all reason AI is so good. Yeah.
So the project we're doing is sometimes we work with firms and they're like, okay, the attorneys can run their own time entries through there. They can ask the billing bot questions. Or in this case is, we take a CSV out of their timekeeping system. We go through and evaluate it against the outside counsel guidelines, the e-billing leads rules, and then also the firm has internal, I call it like informal rules, right? Of like, oh, John hates to see blah, blah, blah. Don't ever write this in a thing, right? A lot of stuff is really stupid, where it's like, you can't meet to discuss. You have to, research and draft instead. So there's a lot of weird thesaurus things in there too, where it's like, don't use this phrase, it'll get rejected. So that's my favorite example, where I tell, working with law firms, I'm like, billing is the easiest use case for AI right now, because it's very black and white. The clients want to see it structured in a certain way, written out. There's rules around, you can't put these hours in. So that's been really our big focus.
Well, the beauty of it is it comes inherently with a bunch of training data. Just because you get to come in with everything that's ever been rejected should be your training module as a starting point. Yeah, and all the approvals, obviously.
And usually the people doing billing have like a 20-page Word document that they've written up already, that they're just, sitting there and doing Control F to try to find the notes that they had on blah, blah, blah. So
I'm solutioning this in my head already, Dustin. I've got all the Azure Foundry things built in my head. Like, I'm ready to build it.
Yeah. And we usually see it's like, I would say the first draft gets 60, 70% of the way there.
Yeah.
Just because it's so structured. It's not anything magic in our process. Like, if I sat down and gave you the documents and like spent 15 minutes walking you through it, like, you can get pretty far along just without knowing what you're doing.
Well, one thing that I find interesting there, I'm going to kind of position them. I'm curious if you're open for like a tough question here, not like a tough question, but like, you know, I've struggled on like some of these custom projects a little bit because what you said it earlier is like it's not a custom project, by the way. I know what you're. I'm not saying you're vibe coding some crazy stuff. Like I'm very anti the vibe coding stuff, but why did that project that they spent $100K on fail? That's what I'm curious on. Like, I'm sorry, I want to pick back to that, and I'm going to bring it through for a story. Like,
well, it goes back to like you and I have both built SaaS companies, so we know it's not getting the MVP is not necessarily the hard part from a technical standpoint, right? Yeah, it's the does it maintain, does it scale? Oh crap, Microsoft just updated their APIs again. There's no, so like I'll give you on shifting back out of the AI piece for a minute on the sort of QBR side for Clear Guidance is we're generally trying to do an 18-month to 24-month roadmap. So here's all the stuff we need you to do. Like, I think you need to do the same, even though it's changing so fast on the AI side, we can't, who knows what it's going to look like in even 12 months. But if you're building out these custom projects and stuff like that, or even doing something like, building out a billing bot in Claude or in Foundry, it's like you still need to, hey, John, once we wrap this up, this is going to take about 90 days, then you guys need to budget X dollars quarterly. You need to, one of the pieces that we don't have right now is kind of a managed AI plan. That I think that's a huge opportunity for that is, look, we're going to do the same thing you would do of, let's go back 10 years ago as an MSP, like, hey, John, I'm going to come in, you're going to do a project to modernize your IT, right? Or let's be really cheesy, digital transformation, right? We're going to move you to 365 modern work model. But then you want to stay on a maintenance plan going past that. We're going to keep, best practices in place. We're going to roll out new settings, this, that, and the other. We're at the point where you really need to at least have that conversation. And in this case, there was, and I don't think it'll be weird if the guys are watching. It's like, I don't think their MSP realizes they kind of did this winging it as a side project. And just didn't do anything past that. So most likely what I'm kind of hoping will happen, we're going to get in there, clean all that stuff out, and then also grab the MSP business as well.
Yeah. Well, and I'm seeing that. I think, man, there's so many topics to pull back here. Oh my God. All right. So I'll let you choose because I have a lot of thoughts. Let me take some, like, we talked about the maintenance and scale of an actual custom agent. That's a whole hour. We talked about building an 18 to 24 month roadmap around AI. That's a whole hour. We talked about using AI as a wedge to run the MSP. That's a whole hour. Like, where do you want to go? Where would you prefer to go? Because I could dig that all those.
Oh, man. So like, I guess talking on kind of from the wedge standpoint, I think is a good one that there is. So not even talk about using that from the attack perspective, but defending your existing client base. Is so I'm also a big cyber insurance nerd. So this kind of goes back to 2 years ago, 5 years ago. I didn't realize it's 2026. 5 years ago, whenever the cyber insurance stuff became,
I lose years. My wife thinks I'm weird. It's like, it's 26. How do you not know what year it is?
I was sitting there like doing the math. But yeah, so going back to like whenever cyber insurance came out was on Clear Guidance, we were making a killing on new business because we would go in and we would talk about it. And then we had a partner at the time. Now I own an insurance company too. But we had a partner at the time that we would have come in and do some quoting and analysis. And the prospect would be like, wow, John, nobody's ever talked to me about this before. So I think we're very much at that point with AI now. If you're not having that conversation, somebody else will be. Not saying that as an MSP you have to be doing or selling AI, but you at that point need to have a good partner that you can bring in. You have to say, I can't help, but I know who can, kind of thing.
I'm glad you said it. Like I've been preaching this for a while now. Like you need to have a strategy around it, even if you're not on the attack for the defense. Like
at least so whenever the other MSP calls that they're like, oh, hold on a minute, like let me grab Dustin for this conversation, because the other guys are going to come in and be like, oh, we're AI experts. They're never going to say MSP. It's to get in the door, and then at that point it's like, hey, we can also do your IT.
So what's super interesting on this track is I'm seeing it. So I'm in Indianapolis here, and there's a handful of like good AI consultants out here. By the way, I'm not knocking any of the AI consultants in our region. They're really good at getting outcomes out of enabling Claude or Copilot or ChatGPT. Come in, train, run org change management. They're doing it all right. but they happen to ignore the IT side of things. And I as a practitioner of IT, just it drives me nuts. Like coming in and just promising a panacea of a solution, just saying this is this cure all to everything.
Yeah.
But we're not going to think about your like IT or hygiene or cyber or any of that stuff.
Right.
We're gonna get you lit up on shadow AI and we're gonna be good. Like,
we have one client that they ended up they were very ahead of the curve. I think this is going to be the 2-year anniversary of they deployed their own internal AI platform.
yeah.
And so they had like 3 consultants working full time. But they didn't early on. They basically had the MVP built before they started integrating into their corporate systems.
Yeah.
So it was like my team got a little bit blindsided. This was 2024, and these guys come in, and the shit they're asking for, man, is like, hey, we need to deploy, Docker images to everybody's desktop, and just like wild. Okay, hold on, this is a lot. So we're in a good spot now, but it was just like they hadn't. They're a bunch of developers, which I mean, you know how that goes, right?
Yeah.
They're
I
just
know.
running wild. And, can you guys give admin rights to everybody so they can deploy
That's
these,
fine. Like,
10 packages? Yeah. So on that point where it's like, even if, so with us, our thing is have a strategy. You need to involve us. We need to talk about it, but you don't have to use us necessarily. So now with those guys, I think their TAM has like a, monthly meeting with the AI team also just to, okay, what kind of crazy stuff are you guys cooking up? Let's talk about it, that sort of thing. So again, just being in the room for those conversations. And if you don't bring it up to your client, it's really hard to get in the room after the, whenever you're rolling in meeting number 4, nobody's going to take you that seriously.
Yeah, because at that point, like whether they're direct competitors or share wallet competitors, they're still competitors in the room. There's still people taking service dollars from that client.
Yeah.
And it's like, it slows down their value creation to call in IT in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Just genuinely, right? Like it's a lot slower to do it right than it is to just do it wrong.
Yeah.
And so
whenever people say, IT is the department of no, absolutely, because otherwise people would be doing all sorts of crazy, stupid stuff. So somebody has to be the adult in the room.
Yes, it has to be the adult in the room. But it's a good point. Like, these AI consultancies, they're blowing up. They're left and right. There's tons of money to be made in them. And you better bet they're talking to your customers and trying to get their ear, and they're promising them the world without caring about the cyber hygiene or the IT hygiene. So you just got to have that conversation. I wrote my predictions, and I've referenced this one probably the most of all the predictions I wrote in 2026, which is customer silence is the worst KPI that you're not tracking, or the best KPI that you're not tracking. Like if they're not asking you about AI, it's not because they're not using it. It's because they don't think you can bring value to the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. You're the MSP, who's right. You're the mop. So in 6 months, they finish this shiny AI project, and those guys, they're usually, what I will knock those consultants for is almost universally, my experience in the SMB space has been these guys don't think ahead. It's we're going to implement.
Of course.
Kind of the vibe coding is, so our good friend Ashley Cooper is like the queen of vibe coding. She does it right.
Yeah.
Because it's very targeted solutions. She'll do some mission critical stuff, but it's the tooling that kind of helps you do your job.
Yeah.
What I always say on vibe coding is like, if this tool goes down for 48 hours, what do you do? It's like, oh, I can't live without it. That's not a good vibe coding use.
No.
Ashley's stuff is, I've mentioned working in SaaS, like she built this badass thing that goes through, compares the new code releases, and it writes 90% of the release notes, right? Of all the updates, hey, here's all the new stuff in the product. It tells the documentation guy, here's what you need to go look at and update. Like that is a beautiful use for vibe coding.
Yeah.
Coming in and being like, oh, hey, Mr. Law Firm, I'm going to redo your client intake. I'm going to vibe code it. And then, peace out. Congratulations, pay me $20,000. And that's where 6 months later, they're calling their MSP saying, hey, this broke. The developer's not calling me back. The AI consultant's not calling me back. A lot of these new startup, the guys that have been doing software consulting for years, they get it's actually software they're building. But the people where it's like, oh yeah, 2 years ago I worked at, PwC, I'm an AI consultant now. It's like, all right, these are the guys that are going to kind of come in, build something really impressive that falls apart the minute they leave, right?
Yeah, of course, and they don't care because they build their malwares. And so you're just like teeing me up here, Dustin. We need like a 4-hour show here because now you've touched on another sensitive subject for me, which is this BPO. Like I have this terrifying feeling that in our space right now, a lot of MSPs are going in and saying, we're going to build agents for you that that change the way that your business operates and process operates.
Yeah.
And they're going to their customer with this like blank whiteboard and they're saying, "Dear Mr. Customer, what do you want?" Or "Dear Mrs. Customer, what do you want?" And then they go build it. And here's my real like deep down fear of that. We know it's probably not good if they weren't custom software shops to be building it. But my fear is they're going to put their actual managed IT revenue at risk, because if I come in and I build a process around their business process and I implement something and it breaks and I lose 48, 96 hours of my business process, and that all of a sudden really impacts my billing, my managed IT revenue is now at risk. Like I went from being a real, I went through the like hard part of the managed IT contract where it was upside down for the first 3 to 6 months. And now I'm actually making money. And then because I wanted to make an extra 20K on project revenue, I just tanked that entire relationship. Like that is my sneaking fear that's happening. And I don't think people see it because they haven't gotten to the other side of the implementation, the other side of the sale yet, where they're seeing like all the pain really come out. Like, I think that is a really real concern, and I'm terrified of it for some of our MSPs out there.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen it firsthand. I've seen 2 law firms demand money back for 3 months later that the ChatGPT deployment degrades because the models were updated and there's no ongoing maintenance, and suddenly it's okay, we need to make a change. These guys aren't they don't get our business, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The custom software thing I mentioned earlier, and if I remember right, that's like a $20,000 MRR. I don't know if the other guys are charging what we are, but it's not a small account.
Yeah.
And it was because they came in and did this, I'm going to refer to it as vibe coded bullshit because that feels like what it is.
That's probably what it is.
But, like it's, you absolutely know what you're good at. Right. Yeah. And that's like our stuff is very specifically, we are not doing custom software.
Yeah.
We are doing off the shelf and we are doing integrations.
Yeah.
That we might get into kind of some light productization of a couple things, but it's going to be very repeatable. We're 27 people for reference, right?
Yeah.
We can't sit there and build and maintain stuff. It has to be turnkey. It has to be, here's the 5 types of projects we can do. This is why I'm a big fan of verticalizing, because you can get more in the weeds. To your point, I love the example of like the whiteboard of it's blank and it's like, what do you want to do, right? We always hear everybody's like, oh, we're going to learn your business. We're going to know. When you have, picking on myself, right? Whenever I got a bunch of clients as a VCIO, I have a chicken wing joint. I have a road paving company. I have a vet. I had a consumer packaged goods. This is like Dustin 2014, probably. Like I'm trying to remember who all my really noisy. But it's like, I can't learn all that stuff. No. I learned a bunch about it, which was fun, but I can go in now, I can have a 30-minute conversation with a law firm and I could fill up that entire whiteboard, right? Yeah. Where they're like, oh, our practice group, blah, blah, blah. Like whenever you know it on that level, then you're not sitting there doing the whiteboard of, hey, John, how does your business run? Tell me how you make money. I absolutely hate that phrase. Yeah. I know MSPs love that. It's terrible. The business owner is going to be looking at you going, what the hell, man? I thought you're going to tell me you're a business expert and you don't know how to make money.
Yeah, oh gosh, now I have to sneeze. This is weird. All right, never had to sneeze on the show. We'll get over it. I'll look at the
time for everything.
Yeah, I know. That was odd. Okay, so okay. So I can admit, if you can admit some mistakes of 2014, Dustin, I can admit some mistakes of 2015, John, because like a lot of what I thought when I came into this, like, because I've been theorizing around this problem now for the last 6 to 8 months, I would say, was bring the whiteboard. I thought, like, why wouldn't you come to the whiteboard and ask them how they make money and how data flows? Like, unlock all this opportunity in projects. And as I started to pull back that thread, I started to get concerned, realizing that we're not set up. Like, the MSP is not set up for that kind of work. And well, they can be, bigger ones can be. But what I've leaned into of learning of late is like, there is one thing that we have as a superpower as MSPs, and that is that we are there for multiple years in a relationship. Like, we don't have to overhaul their business. We can make small iterative change. And then you use the language off the shelf, and I threw my hands up, oh God, all excited, because I'm just boggled right now why we believe we need to vibe code everything when there's so much value to be extracted on the off the shelf stuff. Like just being the subject matter expert, knowing what the off the shelf stuff is worth money. It cutting through the noise is worth money. And so that stump speech over. I mean, coffee chats, it's not my show. Well, it is my show, but it's not my show to talk. But like when you said that, it's just like, I went through that learning and I thought, yeah, whiteboard's the right answer. And then I actually put pressure test and I realized like, just be the SME and unlock the value of all the stuff out there. The difference between a 1Xer and a 10Xer and a 100Xer is enablement right now. It's not technical expertise even. So anyway,
just those 1% improvements are, the client's going to appreciate you do that. If you do it month after month, then, suddenly it's like, all right, hey, John, this last year we improved your business 12%. And then next year you're like 25%. That starts to add up. And you don't, kind of come out of any of that usually looking like an ass like you do on a digital transformation project, where it's you can't. You said something a minute ago, I forget exactly what it was, but it made me think of like there's a range of, we can't do that as an MSP, right? So you have over here, I'm an MSP, you can move into consulting, and then to the vibe coding software part is like I'm going to say an ISV, independent software vendor. Like that's a range. You can't go from MSP to ISV. Most MSPs even struggle going MSP into doing like actual consulting work, that BPO, that whiteboard, that kind of thing. But it's like get that part really dialed in. Don't try to jump the steps. Don't try to skip. If you want to do the software part, then you're doing off the shelf. You're doing resell. You're doing partnerships. That kind of thing. You're not building. You're deploying.
Well, and I think I saw a bit of that aha moment when I made that point. Like the MSPs are here. They have that multi-year relationship. They can do that iterative change. If I am an MSP right now and I'm talking to my customers about AI, the way that I am fighting off or defending, we'll use the word defense from earlier, all these AI consultants, those AI consultants are there for 3 months. They don't care what happens after that. We're here for 3 years. We're going to do pragmatic and iterative improvement, not dramatic business process overchange. Like, even in my retrospect, like I introduced a bunch of agents when I did our digital transformation last year at Auvik, and now we're a year forward. I think a lot of like out of the box solutions could do some of those agents use cases. So that's where I start to get to this world is like, is AI going to outpace what we build, and will we ever be able to build and it sustain for more than 12 to 18 months before AI could just do that too? I don't know. I'm curious to get your takes on that, but that's kind of how I'm feeling, like seeing some of the new, like seeing wave 3 of AI right now and co-work and all this stuff. Like, why did I ever build agents? Co-work can just do it with a skill.
I think we're going to see a lot more stuff of like, if you look at the Azure Marketplace is a good example, right? There's even some law firm very specific tools in there, like around court scheduling and stuff, where you can kind of go shop. It's an established thing, but it's going to be more of that. Here's a good term you're going to nerd out on, because I know you're Mr. SaaS startup, but like almost that more of the product-led growth approach, right? PLG, meaning it's not the traditional, hey, John, get on with the demo with me. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. It's going to be, oh, my friend told me about, I'll use a good example. The one I was talking about is called Law Toolbox, and it helps attorneys do automatic court scheduling. So you say, I'm going to court in the Northern District of Texas. This is my trial date. And then it fills in backwards. Here's all your deadlines. Super cool. You can go right onto the Azure Marketplace and get it. So it's like that kind of stuff. I think we're going to see a lot more of that coming up, to where one of the guys that we have that does consulting for like with us, he has a YouTube channel and he just built this cool integration, and you can just go buy it off. It's here's the code, here's the deployment directions. Don't call me, basically. And it's a super useful thing. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that now. That's just kind of those quick, easy, focused solutions. It's not trying to do, we're not going to revolutionize your business. Yeah, exactly. It does this one thing. It does it really well. And then at that point too, is you're able to rip and replace easier. You're able to update, upgrade, change faster, versus that monolithic, like a PSA, ERP, practice management platform that runs your whole business. That's one of those things of, I've literally had clients that are sitting there and it's like, I'm retiring in 3 years. We'll replace it after I'm gone. I don't want to deal with it. Right. These little quick interchangeable, it's like playing with Legos, right? You can easily kind of customize. It's like, ooh, I want to rebuild this part of it real quick. And it's not a high risk versus we got to tear the entire business down and reboot it.
So what I hear here is something I've been trying to advocate for. You are a subject matter expert when it comes to this stuff. Like by you knowing that Law Toolbox exists, you are bringing value, not the value that so you bring the value that Law Toolbox gets, and you get to inherit some of that value by bringing it to the customer.
Yep.
Because you're cutting through the noise. You are like dissecting all the noise and bringing the best solutions forward.
Yes.
There's what we are as MSPs. Like that is like who we are as like as an industry. And so this is where I get like so caught up in it. It's like, why did we decide we wanted to change? Like we're really good at some things. Like why don't we bundle the things that we're really good at into a practice, into a program that we can deliver? I just, it's like, why did we have to reinvent ourselves in the last 18 months?
And I don't know. I mean, the generalist model still exists. The much larger MSPs, the huge ones, there's a need for that. And then you're always going to have your small businesses that are like, I want to walk down the street and talk to Dustin. And, I think I'm going to say like the MSPs 15 people and under that are generalists will always exist also, because it's like, I don't want to go work with this huge one. I want to talk to the owner. But for the middle-sized guys, like I think it's going to be a verticalize, and you can even do specialty around, we do like, I think AI specialist MSPs where we're going to help on that. Well, to me, that's not, vertical is not the right term there, but you know what I mean, right? Specialist. The generalist mid-size MSP is going to be dead in 2 years.
Oh, that's a hot take. I like that.
I just sat there and kind of did the blue steel into the camera so you could have
I know it's a good hot take. I mean, look, I think the vertical MSP definitely has a lot of advantages over the horizontal MSP.
There's one national one that has a law firm division, and we go up against them probably at least once a quarter, and we have lost once, and they came in just desperate on price. Yeah. And so it's like just all day, every day, is we'll sit there. So we're quoting pretty heavily. So it's not like one proposal a month kind of thing. Our numbers are up. I think we did like 65 proposals all last year. We're closing at 40%. I like to always bring the receipts. It's like, why should you care what I have to say? We're closing 40% of our proposals. This is new business, by the way. And a lot of the time is we always try to, my sales director is like, hey, who are you talking to, this, that, and the other. And a lot of times they say, we're getting to know with clear guidance before we talk to anyone else. And that's because that we can go at whenever I do get pulled into sales calls, my team absolutely hates it, because I'll sit there like this for an hour and just be like, oh yeah, get Law Toolbox. Like you don't even need us to come in and do that, blah, blah, blah. But coming out of it, I also just like talking and helping, and I'm just like geeking out a little bit. I'm like, oh, I know how to fix that. We did insurance defense billing at this other firm. Let me tell you how blah, blah, blah. You can do this to get the carriers to accept your bills better. I'm a fountain of free advice whenever the sales is trying to sit there and close the deal.
I know, I am too. Like I can never recommend somebody in the wrong direction. It's not in my bones. Like, it's not worth an extra little margins. I try to think in decades, not days. It's a little bit more of a different mindset. I appreciate that out of you, Dustin. All right, million different areas we could go here. One area we didn't step on earlier. You talked about like an 18 to 24 month roadmap. I want to kind of dig that one back a little bit if you're open to it. How are we know AI is changing. We know it's dramatically changing, but you talked about like, I kind of want to come bring something forward, my customer. How do you think about that? Like, what does that look like in your mind in the roadmap, knowing there's so much change?
So a couple different pieces. The first one, going back to like, it's IT or really security first. That's what we say. Clear guidance. We're security first. So on that is the first thing that starts is around CIS controls. And we're also baking in some other stuff on. So the way we approach it is like, here's where you're at on CIS. What are we going to tackle this quarter? Here's these 5 things we want to get turned on. But then we have a couple other things that are risk areas. One of those now is AI acceptable use policy. Okay, guys, hey, you don't have anything in place still. Why aren't we doing this? We need to sit down and talk, and at least.
By the way, I love that the law firms is your specialization. Sorry, a little bit of meta comedy there. Sorry, go ahead.
The other one that we do on that too, that's with the law firms, is retention policy. And it's like all of our, so we have 3 account managers, virtual CIOs. And so their thing is always like, okay, guys, John, we need to talk about your retention policy. We can't keep everything forever. Like that's not acceptable. But some stuff like that. And so that AI acceptable use policy really gets the conversation going.
It
And then at
does.
that point, going back to, we understand the business is we look at it and we're like, okay, you're an insurance defense firm. That's one of my favorite example cases because it's a really kind of unique, even space in the legal space. That, all right, what can we do? So automation. I'll give you a great example. Generic generalist MSP comes in, insurance defense firm. John, we're going to do it automated so you can bill more hours for less work, and you're able to automate some of these tasks that you're already doing for your clients. Blah blah blah. That will just immediately you just disqualified yourself because they immediately know you have no idea what the hell you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
Because insurance defense is dirt cheap. A lot of MSPs are billing more than these guys. I've seen insurance defense firms billing under $200 an hour as a lawyer,
yeah,
right? It is pure hourly. You are not allowed to automate anything. Most states, the ethics for practice, you cannot bill for AI usage or automation. It is only the actual work done by an attorney. So immediately, you just ran through 6 things that you showed you don't know what you're talking about,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So going into those guys is my AI strategy is going to be billing is absolutely horrible. That was what I was talking about earlier. These insurance
yeah.
carriers kick back every little trivial BS thing. So if we're going to an insurance defense firm, first thing I'm talking on tech and AI is going to be, look, we want to deploy some package software to do better time capture. So your attorneys are able to grind out more hours. They're not spending as much time on their timesheets. They're not leaking time. And then we want to deploy AI to make your billing processes easier.
Yeah.
And that's right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And suddenly they're like, oh man,
You know what not to hit on because you know you're
yeah.
going to lose the deal right there.
And so that's where that roadmap comes into play is we're looking at you're doing X, Y, Z, small real estate transactions, for example. Hey, you can do fixed fee. We can put in some document assembly, document automation software. AI is making that. There's a document management platform called Net Documents. That's some really cool stuff. They were pretty cutting edge on the AI side. You can say, go grab the John Harden matter, the Bolander matter, and then draft me a new version that's going to be something really similar with this bits of information. And it'll go pull from all those case files and basically give you the first set of documents based off of your other stuff that you've worked on because it has all that context. And that's all within the existing document management system the firm has. So just stuff like that, right? Where it's like, hey, your type of practice that you do, not even saying you can't, not all law firms are the same, right? It's like all the MSP, my market is different. The
Yeah, yeah.
different practice groups in the law firms are different. So if I'm going into a intellectual property practice versus a litigation practice versus a real estate transactions practice versus insurance defense, that's almost like internally we kind of look at it as sub industries. Our
Yeah.
CRM is not broken down by industry law firm. It's broken down entirely by practice groups because it's a different conversation at that point. So that's where that roadmap
Yeah.
comes in.
No, I
Is
love it.
there's a couple things billing, but I mean even billing sometimes isn't the same. Doing like family law, sending Dustin a bill for his divorce versus sending Apple or Amazon a bill is a completely different experience. So
Yeah.
that's what we look at on the roadmap side. It's like what tools do you have in place that we know are bad, where are you struggling, and where are maybe you're happy with what you have, but hey, there's this really cool new stuff out that you should be looking at.
Yeah, Dustin, this obviously needs to continue over a beer or a cocktail over at GeekCon. I want to keep this rolling, but we're tailing the segment. One question I always like to ask before I go into the wrap up here: what didn't we ask, or what didn't I ask that we thought we might talk about today?
Oh man,
We got into a lot of good topics. So.
the managed AI I think is kind of the big one. You and I have talked some about it before. That's a piece we still haven't figured out. We're doing things very on a project basis. We're doing a kind of trailing engagement after that, but it's typically hourly or like a monthly check-in, and then we re-engage for another project. I want to get to. It'd be great to come in and say, hey, John, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. Here's your AI roadmap we built, and charge. We're going to charge you $2,500 a month. And here's what we're going to do each quarter. We're going to do we run on EOS internally traction, right? So it's like, here's your rocks. This is our quarterly AI rock, Mr. Client, Mrs. Client. Here's what we're going to get done this quarter. And then that way it just becomes a little more consistent, and that helps with how fast AI is moving and changing, right? A year from now, we're going to be talking. John, for everybody on here, John and I like to argue about Copilot. He's a big fan. I'm kind of skeptical, but internally, we've been saying at Clear Guidance is like, in a year from now, we're all going to be on Copilot. Like,
they're all ubiquitous
Microsoft will get it right
now. It doesn't
eventually.
matter who it is. Yeah.
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 I was going to say, I think they're spending more than anything else at this point. Microsoft gets what they want eventually if they stick with it. And like, we're right on that cusp with Copilot. John thinks we're there already, but I think we're right on the cusp.
On the frontier program.
Yeah.
You were there. I'll say, I can pick apart where the Claude deployments are falling down. I've seen it all happen now in real time.
Yeah.
But one other thing I wanted to bring up, this is a fresh learning I had this morning, so I just want to share it with you and everybody else. You know me, I always post my learnings, but this one is, I think, really relevant to what you just said there on the managed practice. On the project side, what I've learned is on the project side, projects are for delivering AI. Programs, like a managed AI practice, are for delivering AI value. And what I mean by that is a lot of MSPs right now are implementing the standards to support AI. And that is their project, AI readiness. Building a program after that means that you have like a VCIO enabling or a VCAIO enabling the AI strategy is how you unlock the AI value. And so this was a fresh learning I had this morning. What I think is hyper relevant to it, I don't mean to get pitchy, but like it is important learnings, is that implementing the standards to get to AI has no value whatsoever for your customer. Just being very brutally honest. Your customer doesn't care about governance, security, policy, like all these little things.
It's a necessary evil.
It's a necessary evil, but it's not the value. So here's where I think MSPs are dropping the ball a little bit. Don't just implement the readiness. Like the real value is once they're ready and they're over the line, enabling that whole journey afterwards is where the real value is. And I think MSPs are falling short because they're just cleaning to get them ready. And then they give them the tools, like your COO who only used ChatGPT for 30 minutes. They stopped right at the point at which they could be the superhero for that customer. Like they did everything to get them on the tool, and then they never did anything else. And that's where the relationship gets built. So sorry, step speech over.
No, you're good. And I mean, it's the people need reminders. That, and the other. Like there's a good way to think of it. I got 3 kids, so I kind of put everything through the context of raising kids now. Yeah, you get that too.
I can appreciate it.
I can't tell my kids something once and they're going to remember, right? I'm not saying I necessarily have to nag them, but there needs to be ongoing engagement. We had a firm, they're very tech forward. We got Claude plugged into 20 things there. We have, 20 skills built out. Like but there was something or other came up with, what was it? I can't remember. I was in their office though, and the COO, her and I were just kind of sitting BSing, and she mentioned something. It was like, oh, that doesn't. And I'm like, no, like over here, click this. Let me show you real quick. It took 30 seconds. She's like, I stopped using it a month ago, and it's because GPT had moved a setting.
I'm telling you, enablement is the biggest moneymaker right now. Enablement is the difference between a 1xer and a 10xer and a 10xer and a 100xer. And if you could 10x and add a 0 to the output of any of those employees, you could. I argued, I'm going to live by this. It's what I'm building around. Enablement is king. Sorry, I'm done.
No, you're good. I mean, I'm in a MSP owners group, and they make fun of me because the majority of our projects, if I show you, you're just gonna be like, oh, I could build that, in a couple weekends. It's just enablement and training. Hey, we're gonna turn on these 10 connectors. We're gonna help you build your first kind of workflow or two, or your first couple Claude skills, and then that's what they're happy at that point. It's not give me 20 custom integrations. It's
but that customer is never going to go away. You just literally activated the biggest IT transformation for their business.
Yeah.
Your owners' peer groups can laugh all they want, but your churn is nowhere to be found, I'm sure.
Yeah. So we've done several months of, it's slowed down a little bit right now. We're kind of transitioning. Yeah. I just got a neuroscience PhD. I don't know why this lady wants to work with me. I was like, you're too smart. Yeah, but so we're kind of restructuring our AI practice. No, end of last year, starting last summer, kind of going in early this year, we're doing $10,000-$20,000 of AI project work per month. Yeah, but it's a lot of it's, we call it ChatGPT in a box. Yeah, where we come in, we help them build a couple custom things. It's super simple, but people love it.
But what they do is they look at you and they go, you're the ones that brought us the value, not ChatGPT. They go, Yep. Clear guidance brought me the value, and that's what's important. And there's where that. So,
Yeah.
All right. Whole bunch of notes, whole bunch of learnings. I don't even think I asked a single question on this list.
We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, it was just too like there were a lot of untouched topics I wanted to hit on, but that's okay. We're at the end of the show here. Hey, I do the rapid fire wrap up at the very end, but I want to get you back into your 10 o'clock meeting. We need a few after for recording. So I just want to ask the final question.
Yeah.
This is your opportunity for a shameless pitch. Tell us all the cool things you do. Like we'll blast it out to everybody tomorrow in the write up, but like, why should they get hold of you? Who should reach out to you? Go ahead.
Yeah. Clear Guidance Partners, we talked a bunch. I would hope after this, everybody understands that we really know law firms. I always say, we actually do law firms. It's not one of 10 verticals listed on our website.
Yeah.
But then the other two is also involved with a little MSP company called CyberDrain. We make CIPP. That's not super public. I'm involved with it because Kelvin Taylor is the founder, CTO, and I just do all the boring business stuff. But we just hit 13,000 MSPs using the product. So biggest 365 management tool in the market. And then the other one was going back to kind of crazy entrepreneur was started a company called Beltex Insurance because I said the insurance space for MSPs sucks. There's either a bunch of agents that are selling the same 10 policies or, there's two companies that offer MSP specifics, but it's this huge lift on applying and this, that, and the other. So I said, I want to insure the top 20% MSPs and make it easy. Start to finish to getting the policies about 15 minutes of work, as long as you have really good security. So, and I got a bunch of other stuff I want to do, but my wife told me no more. She said 3 is enough for now.
I'm not allowed to do anything else. I got to do board and I'm already cranking too much, but I'm with you. I love it. We're crazy entrepreneurs, man. That's why this could go on for hours. Love it. Thanks for everybody jumping in. We'll get this right up out to everybody. Should be a good show. Recap notes. There's just a ton to learn here. Thank you, Dustin, for jumping on. And then next week we go live again, and it's our last week before we have a big series going live at MSP GeekCon. GeekCon actually represents 1 year of coffee chats. And so we'll be doing our 56th episode with Cooper, because Cooper's the first one to ever do an episode.
Nice.
And we are doing a year recap. I took the highest news articles for the last 24 months of AI. Yeah. And we're going to look at them. And we're going to go, did that stick or was that a shtick? And we're just going to have like a fun show on the last 24 months of AI. So
love it.
If you're at GeekCon, say hi to me or Dustin. And thank you so much for jumping on the show. It's been a blast, man.
Yep.
Cheers.
Have a good one. Bye.